What's going on? Can you hear me? All right, so.
There we go. I was muted. Sorry. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Don't mind me for a minute. I had to pick my kids up from school, so that's one of the ways I'm on my phone.
Gotcha.
Pick them up and take them home, and then I'll be back at my desk.
Gotcha. No problem. Today, I'm not going to be role playing a lot with you guys today. It's more educational today.
Okay.
Than actually role playing, because there's a lot of stuff I got to go over with you, and I'm going to try to get you guys out of here by 3 so you can get your team meetings and get that stuff handled. So.
Okay, great.
Boom. There we go.
Great. Yeah, I was like, I hope they don't care. I have to get them.
You got to cut. Yeah, Demetrius
It's
should be
just
here
kind of the
shortly.
way it fell in when I have them,
All right. What's up, Rachel, Michelle? How you guys doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. All right. So give another couple minutes. You can hear me well, though? Okay. All right. Got me on the screen. Should be able to hear me.
Yes.
Let's see where Demetrius is. Okay. All right, Demetrius, what's up, man? All right, so. Yes. How do you do this? Gallery. Boom. There we go. All right, we can see everybody now. All right. So for those of you guys who never met me, my name is Drew. I'm a GA with us. I've been with Tommy for almost 5 years now. Been all over Pennsylvania. We worked in Philly for a whole year. Was with the various agencies in Pittsburgh for 2.5 years, and then we got the opportunity to move out here. Right. So what I'm going to be going over with you guys today in training class is all the no-cost benefits. So explaining them, collecting referrals off of them, and more or less just giving you guys some good information so you can give it to the clients. Okay. Now, first thing I want you guys to realize is that you're not going to get paid to drop off will kits to people's houses. Okay. There's no money in physically dropping these off or going over these no cost benefits. Okay. They're designed to, number one, build up the trust and the need for our company, right? And number two, to use them to collect referrals to go see other people, right? Now, the no cost benefits are great. They do help people. Like they're not bad benefits. You know what I mean? They're not like designed to hurt anybody. But at the end of the day, they're really just designed to give our members a little bit extra, right? And build the need in the company, right? So before we get into any of the no cost benefits, guys, there's 3 things that you're going to want to do with every no cost benefit. Okay. First thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to build it up. Right? And I'll go into how to build each one of them up specifically once we go into each one of them. But that's typically the first thing you want to do. Build it up, make it important to them. Right? The second thing you want to do is explain it. Explain how the child safety kit works. Explain how the AAL Plus program works. Just briefly explain how that actually works. And then the third thing you want to do is collect referrals. Okay? So the reason why it got to be in that order is because if they don't see importance in it, right, they're not going to listen to what you have to say about it, and they're not going to give you referrals. All right, so you got to build the importance of the benefits. Okay, now there are like 5 no-cost benefits that our members have access to. You're typically not going to go over every single one of them with every single member. Okay, it's kind of situational. If that makes sense. So typically, you're going to go over the child safety kits, the AIL Plus card, and the family information guide with every family. Now, keep in mind, if they don't have kids or don't know many people with kids, you can kind of fly through that part of it, right? But you want to kind of pick and choose which one of those benefits you're going to hit on the most. Now, an easy way to kind of figure that stuff out is through building rapport. Right? Once you build rapport, you know if they have kids, you know if they have grandkids, you know if their family's health is good, right? All those type of things you can deduce from actually just talking to them in the first 10 to 15 minutes of the presentation, right? So when you're dealing with a union member, they'll also get the accidental death and dismemberment certificate too. So they'll have those 4, the child safety kits, AIL Plus, the family information guide, and then their accidental death and dismemberment certificate, right? And then that's where a lot of people think the no cost kind of stops. The other no cost benefit that we have is that needs analysis for them, you know, that survey that they fill out, right? Because if they go to a financial advisor, that stuff costs money. It's not free to go to have them run that, right? It costs your time and money. So we actually take care of that for them at no cost. But I'm not going to be going over that today. That's more or less what Josh is going to be going over with you guys on Monday, getting more into that, okay? So first, I'm just going to kind of walk you through the benefits, walk you through the no cost benefits and the kind of transitions between them too. All right, so the first benefit that they had set up for our members, always use that phrasing, the first benefit that they had set up for you, right? Well, why we want to use they is we want to put the pressure on the system, not on us. I'm not here doing this. They have it set up for you. Does that make sense? So it's a little difference of words. It's the same exact thing. We're doing the same thing, but we're just saying it a little different, right? So, you know, the first benefit that they had set up for you, who's they? Their union, their sponsor, whoever. It doesn't matter who they is, right? But the first benefit they had set up for you is your child safety kits, right? Now, you guys here at the office, you can actually physically see them. You can hold them in your hand. Here's what they look like, right? They come in a plastic bag, and it opens kind of like it does on the PowerPoint, the same exact way. So the inside looks like that, right? And then the outside looks like that. Right? And it comes with a police grade ink strip, right? And all the ink strip does is peel right open at the end. It's pretty easy. So for everybody virtual, I'm going to share the screen so you guys can actually see the will kit and how I go about it. All right, is it going to let me play from there? Okay, cool. So you guys can see that on the screen? Okay, great. So when I introduce the will kit, I'm saying, you know, basically this is the first benefit that your union had set up for you. It's the child safe ID kit, right? So first thing to do, once again, make it important. You know, the reason why this kit was designed is because it's a big problem and concern, especially in Illinois. Child abductions last year, almost 500,000, about 450,000 child abductions last year. Almost 500,000 children went missing or got abducted, right? And the crazy stat is that if those kids don't come home in the first 24 hours, 93% of the time they don't come home at all. That's very scary, right? Now, Illinois ranks number 10 right now. Well, they did last year. I don't know this year's stats yet, but they were number 10 last year for worst places for child abductions, right? Make sure we mention that stuff to these people. It's going to build importance of it, right? I don't want you to scare them, right? But I do want you get them to understand that there's numbers behind while we're doing this, right? And the main reason why we're doing this is it's because the Police and Teachers Association, it's their national campaign to get as many of these kids out to the community as we can. Once again, not us, Police and Teachers Associations, right? Right. So one big thing we want to do when we're talking to them initially is maybe, I don't know if you guys have kids or not, maybe throw a story in there, right? I don't know if you've had a kid and you went to go pay one time and took your wallet out of your pants, gave the card to the guy at the cash register, and then put your wallet back in and your kid was gone. All it took was like that 30 seconds for someone to come up and snatch it, right? Now, God forbid if that does happen, that's why this kit's designed, right? It's designed to make sure that the police get the information they need when that time comes. Because the real simple fact of the matter is it takes a sharpest parent or grandparent 4 to 6 hours to give the police everything they need in this kit. Because if something happens, you're not thinking height, weight, eye color, hair color. You're thinking, oh my God, who are they with? Where could they be at? Right? Kind of panicking. And that's going to add more time. Right? Another fact is that every minute that they're away from the house is a possible mile away from the house that they could be. Right? And right here in Chicago and Illinois, those kids in 2 hours could be in 3 different states. Right? That's a really scary fact. It becomes so much harder to find them at that point. So this kit really is designed to make sure the parents have the information. So if something, God forbid, does happen, they can give it to the police and it'll help that search get started. Right? Now, some people you sit down with have some kind of notion that we're going to get all their information on their kids here. And we're going to plug it into a system at our office and we're going to watch their kids for the rest of their lives. It's not how it works. So if they feel that off the bat, you could tell them we're not going to do anything. I'm not going to take any of the kids' information today. All I'm going to do is show you how it works. And then I'm going to ship it out to you and you're going to fill it on your own time. So we don't keep any of the information. Right? Sometimes you might see people that have that issue. Right? But after the brief intro, the first benefit they had set up for you was your child safety kits. Right now, we take care of these for the teachers and police associations. It's their national campaign to get as many of these out to the community as we can. Right? And the reason why is just alone last year, about 450,000 children went missing or got abducted. Right? And the scary fact is that, if those kids don't come home in the first 24 hours, 93% of the time they don't come home at all. Right? So that's why this kit was designed, so that if something does happen, it takes, it saves the sharpest parent 4 to 6 hours of looking for information and trying to gather this. Has it all in one easy kit. Right? So once I get through that introduction, now I should know just by talking to them through Rapport what their kids' names are. Right? If you don't, you ask them right here. So as an example, what's one of your kids' names? Or what's one of your grandkids' names, for example? And they'll tell you the name. Right? It's very important to get the name of the grandchild or the child in this situation. Because once again, we're painting a picture of it being real. Right? Use the real kid's name and use it throughout this. So if I ask Joe, what's your kid's name, for example? And he says his kid's name is Steve. Okay, so what you're going to do, Joe, is you're going to put Steve's name on the front where it says child's name. Right? And then on the next page, let me do this. Here we go. On the next page is on the inside where all the good information is going to be. Right? So number 1 would be Steve's personal information. So anything that's going to change, like the height, the weight, the eye color, hair color, put that in pencil. That way you can erase it and change it down the road. Anything that's going to be permanent, like maybe blood type, allergies, social, parents' names, that type of thing, put that in pen. That way you don't have to erase it. It's permanent there. Number 2 would be a physical description of Steve, right? Anything that makes Steve unique. Glasses, braces, scars, birthmarks, anything like that. All you would do is you'd mark a little scar on the elbow and write 1 scar on the elbow in there, all right? Now, the number 3 is where a DNA sample would go, okay? So by DNA sample, I don't mean spit or blood. Police don't want spit or blood there. That's gross, right? What the police want, though, is a hair follicle or fingernails, right? So I usually get them to laugh at a really corny joke right here. And you guys should use it because it works, right? So I ask them, and I'd say, Mary and Joe, so Steve's never bad around you guys, right? And they're like, oh, never bad. I'm like, okay, well, he's probably bad about twice a year, right? So next time he's being bad, instead of grabbing that whole head of hair, right, just pluck 1 or 2 out, and then you could tape that down for the DNA. Right, and then they give a little chuckle. right? So they can use hair follicles, but it has to be from the root. They have to pull it, right? But if you're like my man Alex here with very short hair, I can't do that. I can't grab your hair, right? In fact, my hair used to be like that when I was young because I was a very bad kid. My mom raised 5 boys. We were all bad. And I got smart and she used to grab our hair a lot. So I got smart and shaved it off, right? And moms are smarter. Guess what she did? She started grabbing my ear instead, right? So there's ways around it. But if they have very short hair, you can use fingernail follicles or fingernails, right? There's dead skin under your fingernails. That's DNA. That'll work. Keep this updated about every 6 to 8 months, I tell them. So about every half a year, rip some new hair out, get some new fingernail follicles, okay? They can either tape it down there, which they're gonna have to re-tape over everything, or they can get like, what I suggest usually is like a little small plastic baggie. Like if you ever bought like a new suit or a new blouse or something like that, it has like a little plastic bag with like buttons in it. It's perfect, that works perfect. All you have to do is open it up, tape it down, you know, and repurpose the DNA inside of it, all right? And then number 4 would be the fingerprint information. So like I said before, the kit does come with a police grade ink strip, okay? So the ink strip itself is non-toxic. It'll never harm the kids. Won't ever, you know, they can put this in their mouth and eat it if they wanted to, right? But what it's gonna harm is their furniture, their walls, their carpet, their clothing. It is permanent ink, okay? It does not come off. It'll come off your skin or your face or your hands because of the oil in your skins, but it won't come off a table, right? I know this for 100% fact, right? I always try to tell people this and they're like, no, it's gonna come off, right? My brother has these kits, right? I got them for him 3.5, 4 years ago when I started. He thought it was funny and he was like, it's not permanent. And he did it right on this table. He's like, it's not permanent, it'll come right off. I was like, all right, man, he did it. It's still on the kitchen table. In fact, my brother's wife had to buy a table runner to make sure that they can't see that mark in the middle of the table, right? It's still there. It's almost 4 years later. So it's very permanent on surfaces, but on skin, it'll come right off. So I suggest the parents either do this before bath time or outside where they can wash the kids off real quick. It's too cold to do it out right now, so bath time it is, right? Then right there, I ask them, do you have any questions about the inside of it? How to fill it out? And most of the time they say no. 99% of the time they'll say no. Right? Do you guys have any questions on the inside? No? Good. Rachel, anybody? Michelle, good? Okay. All right. And then at that point, I go back. Oh, let me go back. There we go. So the next part is number 5, is a photo of the kid, right? So this is where we're going to put Steve's photo. Now, the police and firefighters and teachers associations, they don't want you to put a photo of Steve and his friends. You know, they don't want Steve at a birthday party. They want just a headshot of Steve. So school photos typically work the best. And I don't know if they really do school photos like that anymore. Maybe they just had digital ones out. But I know when I was a kid, we used to get a bunch of school photos and there was like 50 on a page and my mom would cut them out and send them to all my cousins, right? Use one of those. Or you could tell the parents, like, I'm sure you have 1 million photos of Steve in your phone. You're going to get 1 million more down the road. Take 5 minutes, go to Walmart, plug your phone in, print it out. It costs $1. Right? Easiest way to do that, send them to Walmart, tell them to print out a picture on their phone. But I'm sure they have millions of photos of their kids lying around the house too. Right? Just use one of those. Keep that updated about every 6 to 8 months as well. So the last part there is the important tips for the parents. So I'm never really telling a parent how to parent their kid, right? But I'm just giving them suggestions, teaching the kids how to call 911, teaching the kids about stranger danger. Number 3 on there, I think, is the most important one on there. It's making sure that their kid's name isn't on any personal items, like a backpack or a jacket or anything like that. Main reason being is, I mean, typically when a child learns to speak or they learn to write or they learn to do something, the first thing they learn how to do and say is write their names, right? They know their name. So typically when they hear their name, they just go in that direction, right? Their brains function to go into that direction. Now, if a stranger is at a school and he sees Steve's name on the backpack and he yells out, hey, Steve, your dad told me to come pick you up from school today. He's not going to make it. Hop in my van. You think Steve's just going to go with that guy? Probably. Right? So you got to make sure. Now, the only reason why I say this is kind of important is because sometimes this clashes with what teachers want to do. teachers of kids kind of want to have the name on every single article, like the kid's backpack, his jacket, just so they can keep it organized in their room. It's a great idea, but what I recommend is using like initials or colored pieces of tape or stickers. Works the same thing, right? Other things on there, teaching the kid, if you get separated, public place, that type of thing, right? Then after I get done there, I ask them, now, do you guys have any questions on what to do with the child safety kit if something happens? And they tell me, no, we're okay, right? So I did number one, I made it important, right? Number two, I explained how it works using their kid's name, right? And then the third thing I'm going to do is collect referrals from this, right? Now, your child safety kit referrals, they're going to be the bulk of the referrals you get. They're going to be more numbers of child safe, not quality numbers, right? Quantity at this point, right? Now, to be honest, my favorite type of referral is typically a child safe referral because they're usually younger families that have kids. So there's inherent needs for life insurance right there, right? So typically when I'm collecting child safe referrals, I usually turn them into insurance referrals anyway, right? But the first thing we want to do when we're collecting a child safe referral is to get their phone in their hands, right? Because it's 2021, and how many people know numbers off the top of their head? You probably know one or two, right? I'm the same way, right? And I grew up before cell phones, right? I used to remember all my friends' name or all my friends' numbers. I like remember making phone calls before you used to put the area code in, right? So it's changed a lot from then. Now everyone, all I do is they touch a name in their phone and it calls that person, right? So sometimes they see the number, but they don't associate it with that name. So what we have to do is we have to get the phone in their hands, right? So easiest way to do this is to let them know, Mary and Joe, I need you to do me a favor. Go ahead and grab your phone really quickly. I have some very important information I need you to put in it, right? I have some very important information I need you to put into your phone. Grab your phone for me. And they'll grab it. Because most of the time, it's not across the room on a charger. It's sitting there right on their lap or in their pocket, right? Or they might even be on it, to be honest with you. If they're doing a presentation on their phone, they'll be on their phone, right? So they have their phone handy. Tell them to grab it. Once they grab their phone, tell them we're gonna create a new contact for you in your phone. So open up a new contact and save it as like child safe or child safety kits, something like that. And I'm going to tell them to put this number in here, right? I'm going to tell them to put the 1-800-742-6783 number in their phone. So if something happens, God forbid, all they got to do is shoot that phone number a call and they can get more kits delivered to their house. You can use that number there. You can use your phone number. You can use the office number. I suggest you use the office number because it'll come directly to us and we'll be able to get more out to them and revisit them, or your phone number. I'd put your phone number in it too. I usually tell them my phone number. Because if they're going to call that number, they're going to talk to you and you're like, oh yeah, no problem. I can get them out to them. Perfect. Right. But once they have their phone in their hands and they got the number in their phone, all right, the next thing you're going to do is you're going to hit them with the script to collect that child safe referral. Right. So the script goes, now, Joe and Mary, right? This is where the police and firefighters need your help. Right. They're asking that you do your part in the community by sponsoring a minimum of 10 of your closest family members and friends to receive their child safety kits for free as well, right? So I know you said your brother, he lived right down the street and he had 2 kids himself. Let's start with him. So his name was Mike, right? Okay, Mike, and he has a 773 or a 312, right? You see how I'm kind of assuming the first one? That's what you need to do to collect referrals effectively. You have to assume the first one, kind of just take the low-hanging fruit and then ask them who's next. You got 1 down, you got 9 more spots left. Who else do you want to make sure gets these kids? All right. You kind of want to make sure you ask them 2 or 3 times here for those referrals. Because at the first time, they'd be like, I don't know if I really know anybody. They're like, okay, you might know, what about the neighbors? What about anybody in your family, right? You want to throw suggestions out there to them. Now, you'll get some people who'd be like, oh yeah, I know a bunch of people, and they'll just start listing them off, right? Back to back to back to back to back. And then you're going to get some people at this point that say, oh man, Drew, I don't really feel comfortable giving you names and numbers. Can I contact them first and then get back to you? I mean, There's nothing stopping me from doing that, right? But at the end of the day, they're not going to call their friends and then call you back. It's not going to happen. It does. And believe me, I sold a referral that happened to last week. He ended up just texting us back a bunch of names, right? But that's so few and far between, you can't rely on that. So what you have to do is say, yes, you're going to use the feel, felt, found method here to collect those referrals, right? So the feel, felt, found method can almost be used to do almost anything, right? Now, this method I like because you can kind of throw it in any situation, right? First thing you want to do is you want to empathize with them. So Mary and Joe, I understand how you feel about giving your friends' numbers out. I understand that, right? So empathize with them. I understand how you feel about that, Mary and Joe, right? In fact, you're not the only member that ever felt that way, right? So you're including them now. Feel, felt, they're included with other people because they don't want to be singled out. If I'm like, oh, you're so weird. You didn't want to give me any referrals. You're the only person that didn't give me any referrals. Don't make them feel weird, right? Include them with other people. So, I understand how you feel. You're not the only member that ever felt that way. But what we found out, or what they found out through doing this, is that the easiest way to make sure we get these kits, or the most effective way to get these kits into the hands of parents that need them, is for parents to sponsor other parents, right? It's for you guys to sponsor a minimum of 10 people to receive these too. And at that point, they should be like, oh, that makes sense. Okay. So the easiest way to do this is while you got your phone, work from the A to the Z. That way we don't forget about anybody. And don't be afraid to ask them that. What are they going to say? No? Okay, move on. It's not the end of the world, not the end of the presentation, right? But we want to still try to collect a lot of referrals at this point here. The reason now with referrals, if you ask for 10, people are generally going to give you half of what you ask for. All right, so if you want to collect 10 referrals, ask for 20. Typically, when you ask for 10, they're going to give you about 4 or 5, maybe 6, right? But those 6 are going to be good referrals, usually, right? Now, another little trick with getting referrals here is to, like I said before, kind of start them off with 1 or 2 people that you talk to about with Rapport, and kind of make it fun for them. Right? Okay, you got 2 down, you got 8 spots left. Who else are we going to get in there? Who else you want to make sure we got protected? Right? My advice is when you're on Zoom with them or in your home with them, don't stare at them as they're looking for referrals. Put your head down. Act like you're writing. And if they stop, don't look up for a couple seconds, and they'll get the hint. Because they'll see the top of your head and they're like, okay, he's waiting for me to give more. Right? It's a little nonverbal cue. They're like, okay, and they'll give you more. Right? It's like small little psychology things like that that'll help. Now, in the instance to where they're like, yeah, I don't know anybody. They don't have any kids themselves. They don't have any grandkids. They're just a single person. Don't push too hard on that. You might turn them off to everything. Just be like, okay, I get it. If any, I'll include my card in the in the package for you. If you know anybody, tell them to shoot me a call. Right? But at the end of the day, you really want to try to get at least 5 to 10 referrals from this part right here. That should be the number in your head. I need to go see 5 more people. Now, excuse me. Another fun little thing you can do, and collecting these referrals should be fun for them. Like the more fun you make it and the more entertaining you make it for them, the more people are going to do it. Does that make sense? Now, one fun way that I usually do it is if I'm out in the field and I'm sitting down with a member, and I'll say I know I have 5 meetings today, I'll go to like the convenience store and I'll get like scratch off lottery tickets. I grab like 5 $1 scratch off lottery tickets. And I'll tell my members in the house, I'll say, hey, we're running a little contest here at the office, and whoever gets the most child safety kits out into the community this week gets to win a little prize. They're running a little contest at the office. It doesn't cost you anything, right? And are you willing to help me out with some people I can go help? So they're trying, put yourself into it. They're trying to help you out, right? They like you. Yeah, they're willing to help you out. Now, the other one is if you have those lottery tickets, say, hey, if you get up to 10 people, the company, they allow me to enter you into a drawing to win $5,000. Right? What does it say at the top of the lottery ticket? Chance to win $5,000 by scratching it off here, right? You're not lying to them. And then just give them the scratch off. right? I've had people win money in front of me in the house before. That's great. You know, you want $200? Okay, you can spend 85 on this real quick, right? But the whole thing goes back to making it fun for them, getting them to enjoy the experience you're with, right? Now you're going to collect more referrals with the child safe and with all the other no cost benefits if you build good rapport, right? It all goes back to building that rapport, right? So kind of went over the child safe kit itself, explaining it and collecting referrals from it. Do you guys have any questions for me on the referrals or the child safe or anything like that at all? Non-virtual? Anybody in here? Perfect. Okay, good. So, and I asked them that same thing when I get done collecting referrals. Guys, do you have any questions on how this is going to work? Nope. We're good there? All right, perfect. So I would click next on the benefits. So, and I printed these out for you guys just so you can see them here. I don't know if you have them. That's a little messed up. I'm sorry. Yeah, I am. I'm pretty sure you got that stuff, Demetrius. Rachel, all I'm showing them is a little piece of paper that says the exact same stuff that's on the paper here. Oh shit, that didn't sound good. I don't know. Tom's gonna be mad I broke that. Can you guys still hear me? Okay. All right. So the next benefit that we had set up for them, or the next benefit that they set up for you, was your AIL plus discount card. Okay. Now, this discount card replaced the old discount card we had in about, I think August is when we started this new program. So it is fairly new to all of our members, right? So just remember that when you're sitting down with them, if they saw somebody before, it doesn't matter because these benefits are new. These child safety kits have been updated, right? They update these like every 2 years. There's new stuff on them. So I could show you the old ones. They look really crappy compared to the new ones, right? But the AIL Plus program, this is something that's designed to save our members money on out-of-pocket medical expenses, right? So anything that they pay out of pocket for, this will help with that. And that's my intro to it. This AIL Plus discount card program, what it's designed to do is designed to save you money on out-of-pocket medical expenses. So it says really big on the front of the card, this is non-insurance, right in the bottom left of it. So it doesn't take over their current insurance. So one thing I usually tell them, I say, don't go canceling your current insurance because this is not going to replace that. This works above and beyond, right? So, and sometimes I throw in a little stats like, you know, the company spent the last 3 to 4 years and a couple $1 million developing this program so that our members could have the best benefits available to them, right? Now, on our presentation or on our slideshow, there's 3 slides for it. The first slide is the card itself. The second slide is like the discounts it provides. And then the third slide is kind of what it looks like when it's on your phone or on your computer and where you can get it at, right? Now, after I get done with that first part, just basically explaining this is not insurance to them, this works above and beyond, I usually click the mouse and I say, now these are some of the benefits that the card can help you with, right? The main reason here, guys, that you want to explain this is you want to dig into a little bit about their health, right? All these no-cost benefits should be used to gather ammunition that you're going to use down the road. Does that make sense? So with this discount card, I'm trying to figure out what their health looks like. All right, so I asked them a very simple question. Mary and Joe, do you guys take any prescription medications? If they tell me yes, I'm like, okay, you guys take a lot of them? They're like, no, we take a couple. I'm like, okay, great. If they say yes, I take a lot, I'm like, okay, I know underwriting is going to be a little different here, right? If they say no, we're really healthy, boom, let's go, right? That's what I want to hear. I want to hear you're healthy. Most people take medication for something other. I'm healthy. I take vitamins every day. Same thing, right? You can get vitamins at the pharmacy, same exact thing. So I usually just walk them through basically 4 little discounts on here. I tell them about the pharmacy because I ask them about their medications. I go over the prescription glasses. So this is one good thing you can usually pick out about people. If you see them wearing glasses, say, hey, this can help you save up to 20 to 60% on your glasses next time you go get them. And they'll be like, oh man, I just got my glasses. Where were you at 3 weeks ago? Believe me, people are going to say that, right? So the prescription glasses is great. This used to only be like 10 to 20% on glasses. They like upped all of these this year, which is phenomenal. Another one I hit on is a chiropractic consultant. People go to the chiropractor. First one's free. And then the other one I usually hit on is dental and diabetic supplements. right? Because those are expensive. Diabetic supplements are expensive. Ask Mason, right? And then MRIs and CT scans. Once again, very expensive to get those done. Usually typically not covered by any kind of health insurance you have. You usually have to pay extra on top of that stuff, right? So that's why this is designed, so that if you have a lot of out-of-pocket expenses for medication or glasses or things like that, this will help save money on it, right? Now, it's not a physical card anymore. It used to be a physical card. Right now, it's actually an app on your phone. So the way that the member is going to get access to this is they're going to either go to the Google Play Store or the Apple Store. They're going to download the AIL Plus app. It's just AIL Plus, right? And then once we get done with the meeting, on the top of the needs analysis, there's a little box that says, AIL Plus discount program. That information you fill out there is going to send them an email in about 2 days with a group name and a password so they can log into the app. So they can download the app today. They got to wait for that password to come in 1 or 2 days. Right? And then when the email comes, it'll say, welcome to the AIL Plus program. That's the title of the email. So it's pretty easy to find. Now, you guys as agents, I would recommend you getting this too. It's free. It doesn't cost anything. So the way to get it for you guys is when you're in eApp, when you have your own username and password for eApp, like not the training one, you're going to do a fake application, right? Put your name and information in there, hit submit, run the whole application, then delete it, and it'll send you an email in 2 days and you'll have the card, right? I recommend using it. Right? I know Matt Hunsberger used it like 2 weeks ago for medication. Saved him a lot of money, right? I used the old discount card program for my glasses like 3 years ago, saved like $70, right? And that one wasn't as good as this one is. So my advice, get the product that that you're going to try to help people with, just so that if they have questions, you can help answer them, all right? Then at this point too, you can ask them for referrals on this. You know, Mary and Joe, you know, the discount program, the way it works with union buying power. All right, so have you guys ever heard of union buying power before? No? No, okay. So the way union buying power works is the more people that are involved in the program, the more providers we can get to help out with that, and then the more discounts they'll give us per provider. Right? So the more people we get involved with it, the more providers will accept the card, and then the higher discounts we'll be able to get. Right? So because of that, the companies are allowing you to sponsor 5 people to receive this card for free as well. All right? So who do you know that doesn't maybe have the best healthcare right now? Or who do you know that owns a business? Or who do you know that just retired? You might get 1 or 2 people here, right? Especially if you mention people who own businesses. Because guess what? They don't have like company health insurance. They're paying out of pocket for themselves, right? Save them some money. So at that point, you know, I ask them, do you guys have any questions on how your AIL Plus discount card works? And they'll typically tell me no, or they'll ask, hey, how do I fill out for it, right? When I send them the package, they have that sheet in it right there. It's black and white. So they get that sheet, and it's at the bottom of it. There's a phone number they can call, and there's a website they can go to just to register for it, okay? So they'll have information on how to do it. Now, this part of the no cost should take 2 minutes. You should be really quick with this. Unless they have a bunch of questions like, hey, what percentage do I get off at CVS, right? You're not going to know that. I don't know that. It's provider based. So if they have any questions about what percentage comes off per provider, we don't know that. We don't set the discounts. The provider sets the discounts, right? So it's provider based. So CVS might be different than Walgreens, right? Even though I think they're the same company, to be honest with you. But it is provider based. So, and the great part about the program is if it can't help them, it can't hurt them, right? Sometimes I compare it to like a Jewel Osco card, right? It's like you don't pay anything for the Jewel Osco card, right? You just put your phone number in and it saves you money on things. Same way this works. Just show it to them at the doctor's office or when you're getting your prescriptions or at the optometrist, and they take money right off the top if they can. All right. So anybody got questions on this? How it works? How to describe it? It's pretty easy, right? Just walk down through them with it.
I got a quick question.
Yep.
I know a lot of people have smartphones now, but I feel like there's still a couple people that don't. So what do you do if you're with someone who doesn't have access to download this app?
They can do it on the computer.
Okay.
There's a website they can go to. If they can't do any of that, then they'll have to, well, I send them a sheet of paper that has everything on it. There's a number on the paper that they can call, and I believe they can talk to somebody at home office, and home office will set it up for them.
Okay.
So they do have a phone number once they get the package in the mail. Good question. I don't really run into it very much, to be honest with you, though. All right, anybody else got questions? Good.
That's a 1-year membership. You have to renew every year. Or is it...
Yep. So it's a 1-year renewal. So they get it for free basically for the first year. And then at the end of their renewal period, you'll see, I'm sure you've seen discount card leads, maybe. That's what that is. It means their discount card they currently have is expiring in the next 2 or 3 months. We're going to get back out to them and re-enroll them. Yep. So we'll just sit back down with them and go through the program again. Because chances are either they wanted to think about it or they're already a member and it's a POS at that point, you know? So very good question, Alex. Very good question. Anybody else got questions? Damn, it's coming down out there. It's snowing pretty good. Snowing down with you, Rachel? Down near you, Rachel?
Yeah, it was snowing a lot earlier.
Yeah, I think we just got it up here. It's bad. All right, no questions on that. We're going to the next one. All right, so the next benefit that they had set up for you, right? Once again, the next benefit they had set up for you is the family information guide. Okay. Now, the family information guide was designed so that your wishes can be passed down to your family. This kind of prevents family fighting, right? And why it was really designed is that most of our members were passing away and their family had this information scattered throughout the house. So what our families were having to do is flip through every piece of paper in the house to try to find this information. It takes time, effort, energy that the family could be spending somewhere else. So this is really designed to make sure that your wishes get passed down or to give you a voice when you don't have one anymore, right? I start off by asking them, Mary and Joe, do you have a will or anything like that set up? And they'll usually tell me no. Or if they say yes, great. It doesn't matter if they have one or not set up. It's not going to stop me from explaining this, right? So if they say, no, I don't have a will set up, you're going to say, great, this is a good start to a will. If they say, yes, I have a will, great, this will work hand in hand with your will. Great either way, right? So the way I explain this to them is I just walk them through it, okay? Of course, there's parts on here that are more important than others, right? But what we want to do at this point here, the underlying theme of the family information guide is getting them to tell you if they have life insurance or not. That's really what you want to use this for. Life insurance and a bank account, typically, right? So the first part, I say, Mary and Joe, this is your family information guide. The first part is the vital statistics and historical data. That's just their personal information. So name, address, social, that type of thing. And then I ask them if they're veterans. Say, now, Mary and Joe, are you guys veterans? If they say no, I'm like, okay, don't have to worry about that part. If they say yes, thank them for their service, right? Pretty easy. Next part down, spouse's information. They can put their spouse's information in there. But typically when I send these out to a couple, I send out 2 of them so they each have one. You can just write see other guide right there and they'll find the other guide, right? Persons to be notified. This is an important section on here because in the event of an emergency, this is going to be who they're going to contact. Typically you'll put the beneficiaries there. So right now off the top, what I'm going to do is try to figure out who their beneficiaries are going to be. I would say, Joe, if you passed away tomorrow, who would you want to be notified? Who would be your beneficiary? And he'd probably like, Mary. Okay, Mary, if you both you guys, if something happened to both you guys, who would be next in line? I'm gonna say, probably our son. Okay, so you're gonna put your son's name down there as well. And then down, it says person to be in charge of final arrangements at the bottom of that part there. That's who's gonna take care of the final arrangements. Right? Now, the next section is where the last will and testament would go. If they have a will, right? Put who their attorney is, the executor or executrix, and where the papers are on file at. You know, because what good is having a will if your family can't find it? Why did you even create it if your family can't find it? You know, especially if you pay money to have it done. You're just wasting money. So if they have a will, tell them to put it down here. If not, when they design one, get that information on there, right? Now, the next section down, the estate information, is the most important section on the family information guide, right? Now, the way I introduce it is I usually say, now this estate information, this is the most important section on the family information guide. This is where all of your life insurance is going to go, right? Now, Mary and Joe, why this is important is because just alone last year, $1.6 billion of life insurance went unclaimed. That's people putting hard-earned money into life insurance policies and it not going to their family. A lot of money. It's been $1 billion since like 2012. And it keeps going up. One of the main reasons why it goes unclaimed is because people forget about policies. People have been paying on it for 20 years. They never talked to that company since they got it. It's just coming out of their bank account. They lost the paperwork. They never told anybody that they had life insurance. Some people have a phobia. They don't tell people because they think they're going to get murdered. Right? I don't think that really happens in real life. Like that's like the O Network dramas and things like that. Like you see that a lot on like crazy like TV shows, like Law and Order and that type of thing. You got murdered for a $500,000 life insurance policy. Fell down the steps. Right? That doesn't happen. Okay. I always want the members to know, like, you should list people that are beneficiaries to your policy so they know that they have it, right? What good is having a life insurance policy if your family doesn't know it's there? Might as well not have one, right? So I asked them one very important question here. I say, Mary and Joe, do you have any permanent life insurance in force right now? Now, how they can answer that basically in 3 different ways. First way they can answer it is, yes, Drew, I have permanent life insurance in force right now. And I'm going to go, great. Who do you have it through, for example? Right? And I'll use that person's example. Like, let's say they have State Farm. I'm like, okay, great. So you're going to put State Farm, the policy number, and then the amount. So if anything happens, all your family has to do is call the company, give them that policy number, and they issue the amount very quickly. Now, why did I want to know what type of life, what company they have life insurance through? I want to know that because every type of company typically specializes in a different type of life insurance policy. That's why there's thousands of companies out there, right? So if I know what company they have, I typically know what kind of products they sell too. So I can kind of know exactly what their life insurance already is before I get into it down the road, right? So if I know, like, one good example, guys, is if you ever hear the company Primerica, just know it's term. It's term. They don't do whole life, right? So if you see someone that says, oh, I have Primerica and it's a whole life policy, just know they don't know what they're talking about. You need to re-explain how term and whole works to them, right? So, and what I want you guys to do, especially when you're in your first 90 days, when you're starting to learn these things, is write that company down, spend 20 minutes at night reviewing that company's policies. Look on their website, see what type of coverage that they have. See what like did they name their life insurance. You can do that for most companies, right? Ours is a little different because we don't publish rates online. You know, we don't advertise. So it's a little bit different to look up ours. But you can look up State Farms right off the bat. You can look up, you know, Liberty Mutual. You can look up New York Life. You can look up Primerica. All that stuff, you can just type it into Google and you can find their policies. It's pretty easy. Right? That's something I would really highly recommend you guys doing. It's going to help you out. Because it's impossible for us to make a list of every company and every type of life insurance policy they have. Right? So if you get beat by it one time, do your homework so you don't get beat by it again. Does that make sense? So that's the first way they could answer it. They could say, yes, I have permanent life insurance through this company. Okay, great. Right? Put it down, list it. The second way they could answer that, they could say, yes, I have life insurance through my job. Right? Now, you guys know if they have life insurance through their job, it's not permanent. Once they quit, fire, retire, that's going to go away. So what I tell them there is like, okay, great. You have coverage through your work. Perfect. You see where it says group coverage, hospital and medical? That's where you're going to put your group coverage through work on the bottom there. There's bottom 2 lines. You see how it says a company, a policy number, and then there's no spot for an amount? That's because once you quit, fire, retire, those benefits go away. Right? That's why we're set up as a company to help you with permanent benefits. So hammer that home right there. right? Because they're still going to believe, even though you told them in the first paragraph of the introduction that benefits through work go away, they're going to believe that they can keep them, right? There's very, very, very few unions that let their members keep their benefits. Typically, they're anything through the federal government or the state government. They typically get to keep their benefits. So we don't work with state government employees typically. We do work with municipal employees a lot. So, and if they do get to keep their coverage, guys, they don't get to keep full coverage. They might be insured for 50,000. They might keep 10. And then once again, that's renegotiated every couple of years. They could lose that benefit tomorrow. All right. So not permanent. Make sure they understand that. So at that point, I'll say that's great that you have the work coverage, right? But when you get some permanent coverage, you're going to put company, policy number, and amount. And then the third way they could answer that is they could say, no, I don't have any permanent life insurance in force. That's the one we want to hear, right? That makes it easy for us. And okay, great. So, not if, but when you get some life insurance, because we all need it, right? That's the word you should use. Not if, but when you get some permanent life insurance, because we all need it, right? You're going to put the company. So I usually say you're going to put the company. So you put AIL, the policy number, and then the amount. I throw a little seed in their head right there, right? It's very, very subtle. And I usually write it out when I have my computer. I have a pen on mine, so I usually write AIL right there so they see it. But you want to kind of mention us in that point. So not if, but when you get some permanent coverage, because we all need it, right? You're going to put the company, so American Income Life, the policy number, and then the amount. So like I said, that's the most important section on there. Let them know that at $1.6 billion goes unclaimed. Let them know why it goes unclaimed. Let them know how they can prevent their family from losing that money, right? And then finding out who they have their life insurance through, or even if they have life insurance. This is not the part right here to dig into their life insurance though, okay? Because we haven't shown ourselves as the experts yet. If you start getting into life insurance right here, you're going to lose them. You're going to confuse them. They're not going to listen to what you're saying down the road. So don't dig into your life insurance right here. If they say, oh, I have Primerica, you can't go, oh, that's term, you have term, right? Save that down the road, right? In your brain, you're like, yeah, they have term, right? But save it, okay? So the next, and does anybody got questions about the estate information? I know it's a little bit there. No? Good virtual world? Okay. Next part down is the financial institution information. That's their bank information, right? So you could say, so what I would do here is I bank through PNC. So I would put PNC Bank. Who do you bank through? Ask them, right? So I just ask them who they bank. Like, who do you guys bank through, for example? And they'll say, oh, Citizens or Chase or whatever, Bank of America. They'll tell you who they bank with. We want to hear that there. Or if they go, oh, I don't have a bank account. Okay, well, you know that they can't qualify for life insurance because they need a bank account for that. So you can kind of speed up through the end of it. You don't have to waste a lot of time there. The worst thing, guys, I'm telling you, I've done this many times, is getting to a point and not asking them if they have a checking account, getting all the way through the application, putting all the medical questions in there, typing everything up, and then saying, okay, what bank account do you guys want to use for this? And they go, oh, I don't have a bank account. Just wasted 45 minutes of my life. Right? Now, you might run into some people that don't have bank accounts. That's one of the biggest things that blows my mind about this business is people that don't have bank accounts. I don't understand how you can not have one, but sometimes I get it. You know, people have bad credit. They overdraft bank accounts. It's hard to get another one at that point, you know? So I do get it. I understand it, but how do you pay bills as an adult with no bank account? I don't know, you know? Like, one thing I used to tell people is like, you're going to realize, like, this business, how many people don't have bank accounts and how many people don't have full sets of teeth in their mouth, right? The other one, the second one's kind of a joke, but it's true, right? Especially when you go see them face to face, like, that's our demographic though, right? That's our hardworking union member demographic. So get used to no teeth. Just kidding. All right. And then the bottom section would be safe deposit box. If they have one, put it in there. Mainly you want to avoid probate period here. I don't know if you guys know what probate period is. They basically lock up bank accounts and safe deposit boxes for 6 to 8 months while it's going through court battles and custody and things like that. Sometimes it puts a strain on the family because they can't access money. right? So knowing where the institution is, the bank, that way they have it. And then the last section is another very important section on here. It's the funeral service request, right? So everybody's got their own way of going out, whether it's a burial, mausoleum, cremation. All I want them to do is mark it down the way that they want to go out, right? Now, why this is important is because we're getting them to think about death, right? Very subtly, we're getting them to think about it, right? You don't have to say, Joe, now if you died tomorrow, how would you want to go out? You don't have to tell them that. You don't have to ask them that. Some people will tell you. Some people are like, oh, I want to be buried. Or some people are like, oh, I want to have a Viking funeral, right?
The guy we saw the other day, I didn't interrupt you. He said he wanted to be turned into a diamond. I didn't know you could do that. It costs a lot. It's a lot cheaper than to like get cremated or do like an earth burial or something like that. Like,
Yeah, they take your ashes and they compress them and make them into a diamond.
My nana wants to be, I don't know if you see this, but I guess you can become a tree.
Yeah.
yeah, I've seen
So
those.
that you can grow, like you say, ashes in the bottom of the tree. And I was like, oh my.
Yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff people can do. I mean, that's kind of where like you can have fun with them here a little bit, you know? Like I've been doing this for 5 years. I've heard crazy stories. Like I remember I used to work down in West Virginia a lot, right? And you're close to West Virginia. You know what the demographic is down there, right? So like I remember this area was called Yeager County. It's in the southern part of West Virginia, like the deep south of West Virginia. And this guy, like I was sitting with him and his wife, and their father just passed away, like, I don't know, 4 or 5 months ago or something like that. And what they did is they like taxidermied him onto a Harley.
Huh?
Yes.
Did it work?
He was a human being on a Harley, and that was his casket.
So what they do? They buried him after that?
I assume so. I didn't ask that question.
I would hope so.
But they had pictures of him in the funeral home, like on the Harley. Because I went over this with them and I was like, how do you want to be buried? And they're like, I don't know, but we just buried my father and this is what we did. I was like, okay. I'm telling you, there's crazy things people can do here. Now, if they want something unique done, there's a spot that says special instructions at the bottom. They can put what they want in there. Like if they want to be cremated and shot off into space, or they want to be mummified, or I don't know, they want to, have a Viking funeral. They can put that down there at the bottom. Like mummified is a real thing too. Like one of my best friends in Pittsburgh, his wife wants to be mummified. You know what it costs to be mummified?
No.
Like $39,000. It's very expensive, right? It can be done. And I don't know.
I feel like she would be in a tomb like his dad.
Well, her body would be preserved kind of in a casket, basically. Yes. Yeah. But I think they'd be in like a vault type thing. Yeah, I mean, we looked it up. I was like, how do you want to go out? And then she was like, Drew, really, really weird, but I want to be mummified. I was like, okay. I was like, you know how much that costs? And she was like, no. I was like, okay, let's look it up. We looked it up, $39,000.
Holy shit.
I got our policy for $80,000 just to make sure, because she was young. She's my age. So 40 years down the road, that's probably what it's going to be at that point, So you can have fun with them a little bit here. You can kind of joke around a little bit, but in all seriousness, this part does really stop family fighting, because at the end of the day, everybody is trying to do right by the deceased. Everybody. Not everybody will. Everybody's trying though, right? I don't know if you guys have been in a situation where something happened at the funeral and parts of the family don't talk to each other anymore, right? It could be as little as what color dress they were wearing, or what they were wearing in the casket, or if they weren't wearing a ring or something like that. I'm telling you, small little things like this during a moment where it's really rough on the family, they could explode. So all I want our members to do is mark down the way they want to go out so that there's no fighting down the road, right? And then where it says signature at the bottom down there, they can get this notarized if they want to, and it will hold up as their wishes. Like the family has to abide by their notarized wishes. Now, it's not going to go through court proceedings and get them through a bunch of legal issues. It's not designed to do that. That's what a will's for, right? But this is just designed to get their family from passing to the funeral. That like 3 to 5 day process, right? And make sure that you have the information you need to start that process, right? Now, to be honest, this is usually the no cost benefit I take the longest time on here, just because I'm gathering a lot of good information on the members. Does that make sense? All right. Now, then I ask them, do you have any questions on this at all? And their one question is you typically like, where do I keep this at? I keep it in like a important file, bin that you have at the house, or in the safe or something like that. All right. I mean, it's pretty easy answer to that question. But sometimes people think you have to like fill this out and send it back to us. It doesn't work that way either. They just get it notarized and they're good. All right. Now, do you guys have any questions in home here on it? Anybody virtual? No? Beautiful. Okay. So the next no cost benefit that they had set up for them. Now, if they're a union member, they'll get this. Okay. They'll get the AD&D certificate. I'm gonna try to pull one up here right now. Oops. Well, there we go. As you can see, I don't read my emails too much. All right. Come on. Okay. I almost tried to pinch the screen. I almost tried. Let's just download it. It'll be easier to see on the screen. There we go. Okay. I can't move it now. All right. Can you guys see that on the screen there? Okay. So this would be an example of an AD&D certificate. I don't know why I can't even extend it. Here we go. I can't scroll. Here we go. So this one is for Mr. Kurt Klein, who I saw on Friday last week here. So this is Kurt's accidental death and dismemberment certificate. All right. So I would say the next benefit that they had set up for you was your accidental death and dismemberment certificate. All right. So and I walk them through how it works. All right. So first thing I show them is who is all covered. So all active member and retirees in good standing. All right. So as long as they're an active member, which means they're paying their union dues, or as long as they're a retired member that paid all their union dues and is retired now, this policy is active. So when they retire, they still keep this policy, which is great. Now, there's going to be two numbers over here. There's an SG number and an ID number. The SG number attaches our company to the Teamsters Local 731, right? So everyone in the 731 is going to have the same SG number. The ID number is unique to that individual person. So the ID number attaches that person to the Teamsters 731. All right.
Hey, Drew.
Yes.
I'm only seeing the slideshow right now.
All right. Good. Thank you. How about that?
There it is. Thank you.
All right. So yes. So sorry. Members in good standing right up top right here where I highlighted. And then the SG number and ID number over there to the right. Okay. Now, like I said, and I tell them like this is for the benefits for the accidental loss of, it says it right here. Benefits for the accidental loss of your life, both hands, both feet, both eyes, one hand, one foot, one hand, one eye, one foot, one eye. So if anything in that category happens, $4,000 is coming out to the family. If they lose their life, if Kurt loses his life accidentally, that $4,000 comes out to his wife, Linda. If he loses both hands, both feet, both eyes, one hand, one foot, one hand, one eye, one foot, one eye, $4,000 comes out to Kurt. So it's a living benefit and a death benefit. All right. Now, if he loses one hand, one foot, or one eye, half that amount comes out. So $2,000 would come out. And I joke with him a little bit here, like, $2,000 is not enough to go cutting your hand off about, but if that does happen, that's why the money's there. Okay.
So I have a quick question.
Yeah.
So, for the full 4,000, you have to have one hand and the side of one eye,
Mhm.
or like, what happened to that?
Yep. It happens. People have made claims on it. I mean, if you're a pirate, if you lose one foot and one eye, right, you get $4,000 for becoming a pirate. Yeah, right. But most of the time, it's either like one hand or one foot or one eye. And then life, accidents happen. Especially like this Teamsters Local, they're typically like truck drivers, people that work over the road. So accidents happen there. They're using heavy machinery. Stuff happens. I used to work out in the oil field and I got dinged on the top of my head before with a lift bucket. It happens. It's unavoidable. Now, one thing I also do make sure they understand are the exclusions with this policy. So I show them, where is it at? Right here, the exclusions. I say, now there are some exclusions to this policy, mainly suicide, sickness, voluntary taking of drugs, committing felonies, taking parts in riots, or any acts of war. Now you can just read them off to them real quick. And then at the bottom here, we need to verify the information is correct and get contingent beneficiaries, right? So what happens when I send this out to them is they get this certificate, and they get the certificate that has everything on it, and anything from that red line up is what they get. Anything from that red line down is what we keep at the office. So if you're in there in the house with them, you'll rip off that bottom part, all right, and keep that with you. So that's why we have to make sure that the information is correct on there. All right, so how do I get this out of here? Here we go. This apple's annoying. Okay, so want to make sure now, Kurt, the address on there is correct. 6N381 Baker Drive in Ithaca, Illinois. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. And their date of birth is correct as well. Yes. And then I asked them that phone number over there. Most of the time, that's going to be Kurt's phone number, right? And we want Linda's phone number, right? So I say, Kurt, is that your phone number or is that Linda's phone number? That's yours, Kurt? Okay. Probably safe to say if you lose your life, Kurt, you're not going to be making a claim on this, right? Linda's going to be making a claim. So we need Linda's phone number. You get Linda's phone number so you have it, right? Because sometimes the beneficiary might not be the same person that lives in the house with them. Might be their brother or their cousin. That's a perfect person to go see next, right? So make sure sometimes you won't see a phone number on there at all. Sometimes the computer doesn't transpond it on there correctly. But make sure the number is correct. Make sure the beneficiaries are still correct, right? And then let them know at this point. Say, now, Linda and Kurt, me and you are the only people that really know about this policy. So if something were to happen to Linda before you, Kurt, or you and Linda together, who would you want this money to go to then? Right? It would be their contingent beneficiary. So in my notebook, I have like every presentation broken down, and I write contingent beneficiary, and I write the person's name and their phone number, and like name, phone number, and like where they're located at, like Chicago or wherever, right? And then on the back of that certificate, I write their contingent beneficiary, right? And what I also say is now the company, they also make sure that you have a backup beneficiary as well, a second contingent beneficiary, right? Because you never know, accidents happen, right? So we get a second person on there too, same exact thing. So now you just collected 2 referrals right from that part right there. Those are 2 great people to call. Right. So once I explain that, I ask them, do you have any questions on how your accidental death and dismemberment certificate will work at all? And they'll typically tell me no. Pretty easy to explain. Do you guys have any questions on it at all? It's pretty simple, right? Okay, cool.
Yeah, it's pretty easy.
All right, perfect. So that's the AD&D certificate, right? Now, let me figure out. The only other no-cost benefit that you guys can go over with them would be for the free will kit, okay? So let me pull the will kit up here. I had it over here. Boom. There we go. All right. So the will kit, I'm going to stop sharing first. So the will kit, and you guys will see, like, this is a specific request. It'll say, like, free will kit program, right? Now, when you're with the will kit, typically what I go over with them no cost benefit wise is I usually go through the child safe because typically they have grandkids. I go over the AIL Plus program, the family information guide, and the will kits, right? Now, the will kits themselves, it's 2 parts. So there is a green copy and then there's a blue copy. The blue copy, if you can see, it says workbook right there, right? Workbook. The green copy just says documents. So the workbook needs to be filled out before to finalize the green copy, right? Now, the workbook itself, I let them know off the bat, the workbook itself is designed for them to mess up. It's designed for them to fix, change, update. Once they have it finalized in the blue copy, they just transfer everything over to the green copy, get the green copy notarized, and it holds up as a legal document, okay? So when I'm walking them through how it works, I'm just picking out the most important parts where people have issues with typically. And when we get done here today, guys, I'm going to send you an email that has the PDF version of what I'm going to go over with the will kit. It's also going to have a video of Mark Zipper going over the will kit. Like it's like 50 minutes long. That's what your homework is tonight, to watch that video with Mark Zipper. he goes over a long explanation of the will kit and then a very quick one, right? So watch that, learn that. That's how I learned how to describe it, right? Because will kit is fairly new to American income. It's only about 1.5 years, 2 years old. So the reason why the will kit program is designed, it's designed for us to kind of help our community outreach, because we don't advertise. This is a good way to get into the community and advertise and actually help them too, you know? And the main reason why it's designed is a lot of our union members were passing away without a will. Their families were struggling to get things together. This just makes sure that if something happens, everything is down in writing, right? So I'm going to share the screen so you guys can actually see the will kit on the screen. Boom. Okay, good. So we're way at the bottom here. There we go. Okay. So like I said, I'm going to show you the documents. The documents themselves don't have an explanation on how to fill it out. The workbook, let me stop sharing here so you guys can see it. The workbook itself, these 2 pages are the exact same. See them? Except over here, there's explanations on how to fill it out. And then over here, there's blank lines. So you're good. Basically, it is kind of foolproof. So all they need to do is read over here and then transfer it over to here. So it gives them good examples of what to put in the lines, and they just transfer it over, right? So what I usually do with them is I walk them through a couple of trouble spots that they have, right? So I just show them this will kit document. And I'd say the first page here, page number 2, that's where you're going to put your name, right? Now on the inside, the third page, I just walk them down through the articles. So article number 1 is identification of their family, because in the further, oh, someone's trying to hop in here. Sorry, Michelle. Sorry, Michelle. Didn't see you there. Apologize. But the article number 1 is identifying their family, who they're married to, who their kids are, because it says my spouse in a will down the road. So they're going to refer back to article number 1 about that. All right. The names of my children are right there. Article number 2 is a very important article, right? Article number 2 just states that all of the debts of the estate are the responsibility of the executor or executrix. It's very important. A lot of people don't know this. All of the debts of the estate are the responsibility of the executor or executrix. So what that means is if Joe and Mary, let's say Joe passes away, and his estate, if you guys know what an estate is. So what an estate is basically when someone dies and they don't have things going to somebody, they go to their estate. And your estate is basically the sum of all your positive and negative balances. So everything you got positive going on, everything you got negative. So all your bank accounts, your savings, your 401k, retirement plan, all that stuff is positive. Negative are debts, hospital bills, credit card bills, car payments, things like that. And that all goes into one place, right? So if, let's say you had $50,000 in positive assets and you had $20,000 in negative assets, right? The executor has to use that $50,000 to pay off the $20,000 and then give the $30,000 away to the rest of the family. If they give the $50,000 right away, that executor is on the hook for that $20,000. Does that make sense? Legally, that debt gets transferred over to the executor. Right? So when someone's naming an executor, make sure they understand that. When you name an executor, make sure they understand that all the debts of your estate are responsibility of them. Right? So that's a big, number 2 is important to them. You just have to tell them, once again, all the debts of the estate are the responsibility of the executor or executrix. Right? Anybody have questions on that?
Nope.
Okay. All right. Article number 3, the disposition of property. This is what most people think about when they think about a will, leaving certain things to certain people, right? So most people design a will. I have all this stuff I want to leave to somebody, right? Now, you can typically, there's 4 type of property you can leave to somebody, right? There's 4, right? The first one is specific bequests. So that's anything that you directly want to leave to somebody. I leave this car to this person. I leave the house to this person. I leave, my mink coats to this person. This person gets the jewelry box, right? You're going to name what the specific item is, who it's going to be distributed to, and where they reside at. So in the workbook itself, there's only like 10 spots, 11 spots. So when they're going through the workbook, if they run out of space, they can just use a piece of paper and write it down, and then finalize it on the actual green part of it, the actual documents, right? So as you can see on the documents, there's 36 spots, right? Let me move this over here so I'm not in the middle of the screen. All right. So article number 3, part A, the specific bequests, right? Now, the second type of asset that you could leave to somebody is what's called a digital asset, right? A digital asset is something either costing you money online or making you money online. Anything directly coming out of your bank account through direct billing is considered a digital asset. Netflix, Hulu, Instagram, Facebook, Etsy shops, right? Amazon accounts, cable, anything that's directly taken out of your account needs to be listed on Schedule A, right? It says Schedule A right here, right? Now, Schedule A is on the last page of the will kit, all the way down here. See where it says Schedule A on the right side here? This is where they're going to list the name of the asset, where to access it, username, password, and what to do with it, right? The reason being is because Netflix does not know or care that you passed away. They're going to keep pulling that $15 a month out of your account every single month until you tell them to stop it. Same with the power, same with the heat, same with the water. They don't know that you died. They're going to keep pulling that out every single month, right? So this is a way to make sure your family knows what asset, where to access it, and get the username and passwords out there, right? Okay. Anybody have questions on part B of that? Nope. Okay. Part C, the next type of property is a remaining tangible personal property. So this would be anything that's left over at the house. Couches, dishes, old furniture, clothing that needs to be donated or thrown away, anything that needs to be basically taken care of at the end of the day when everything else is gone. They're going to nominate one person to take care of that. Okay. And then it says, if this beneficiary does not survive, the property shall be distributed within the residuary estate, right? Now, the last part is residuary estate. Now, the residuary estate is anything that's like liquid assets. So anything like a 401k, investments, savings, IRAs, pensions, anything like that, that would go to your estate basically in one sum, and then you can split it per person. Right? There's like 6 different spots they can split it by percentage. Now, the one thing I tell them here is they need to make sure that this adds up to 100% at the bottom here. It cannot add up to 99%. If the judge sees this as 99%, he will probably throw this whole document out because of incompetence, because you did not fill it out right. Or he just might not abide by that part of the residuary estate there. So it has to add up to 100%. All right, we good there? Everyone good there? Okay. Article number 4 is where they're going to nominate the personal representative. This is who their executor is. They're going to nominate one person up top here, and then they're going to nominate a backup beneficiary as well, or a backup executor or executrix as well. Okay, so they'll nominate 2 people here. And then article number 5 is the nomination of a digital executor. These could be the same people. Article number 4 and article number 5 could be the same people. They don't have to be different people, right? But some families, people are more inclined to technology than the others, right? So you want to name those people in that situation there. So once again, you can nominate one person and then nominate a backup on there, right? Article number 6 is the nomination of guardian. This only comes into play if they are the guardian of somebody under the age of 18. If, like, let's say if the grandparent has custody of the kid and that grandparent passes away, they need to nominate someone to take care of that guardianship. If they do not, that kid will go into the system, right? That kid will be in there for 2 to 3 months. It's not quick. They don't go in there for a week and come out. It's not how it works. There's paperwork. There's things that need to be filed. There's court hearings. right? The main reason why this is designed is because the judge is not just going to give your uncle custody because he's your uncle. It's not how it works. He doesn't know your uncle from a guy down the street. It's not just going to give him custody. He can fight for custody, but that takes time. That whole time, those kids are in the system, in group homes, things like that, right? So if they're the nomination of a guardian or they're the guardian of someone under 18, they probably understand this concept and just let them know about it again. If they are not the guardian of anybody under 18, they don't have to worry about it. Tell them not to fill it out. And then same with pet guardian, same exact thing. You're going to nominate someone to take care of their pets, right? A lot of people have pets, right? A lot of people, my dog is like my son, right? I make sure I have in my schedule every day to go home and let my dog out between 1 and 2 o'clock, right? Because he's very important to me. I don't have kids myself. That's like my little son. He's been with me for 10 years now. So always make sure that you nominate the guardian for the pets. A lot of people have pets. Probably like, oh yeah, my brother will take care of them. Okay, put your brother down, right? If they don't have pets, go past it. All right. So anybody got questions on page 5? We're good there? Okay. Now page number 6, article number 8 is the personal representative's powers, what they can and can't do, right? Just some legal jargon, have them read through it. You don't have to go through it with them. Tell them to read through that before they nominate the executor. They'll give them some examples. Article number 9 is the digital executor's powers. Once again, the same exact thing. It's going to tell you what they can and can't do. Now, article number 10 is special directives. This is where they're going to put down where they want to be buried at, what church they want to go to, what they want to wear, who they want to be there, who they don't want to be there. I don't know. They can put almost anything they want in that section, right? In the workbook itself, it gives them a good example of what to actually put in there. It says like, if they want to be earth burial, what kind of viewing they want to have, what kind of wake they want to have after, special guests to invite, appearance, clothing, jewelry, that type of thing, right? So have them list whatever they want done at the funeral, right? Article number 11 is some more provisions. So have them read through those. You don't have to walk them through those. I would say article number, here's what I usually tell them. I say article number 11 is some more legal jargon. Make sure you guys read through that, okay? And then I would say the next section down, because page number 7 is where they're going to get this notarized at, okay? So you're number 1, going to sign it as the tester. That's where the person who fills out the document is called. They're called the tester of the will, right? They're going to also get 2 witnesses to sign this. So that they need a notary public and 2 witnesses, right? Now, another way, because if you haven't figured out where they bank at yet, you can do it right here, right? It's a very good part to do this on. You could say, okay, Mary and Joe, who do you guys bank with? And they would say, oh, we use Chase. I would say, great, we work with Chase. And I would say, actually at Chase, they have a notary public on hand. And what they'll do is they might charge you $1, or if you're a member, it might be free. They'll notarize it for you right then and there. And they'll probably just grab 2 bank tellers as witnesses too. So they got everybody they need right in home. And you figured out what bank they have, right? I think all banks typically, I think they have to have a notary public on hand because there's notarizing documents all day long. So it's the perfect place to go to the bank. Right now with COVID, I know a lot of the banks aren't the branches aren't physically open. You have to make appointments to go do stuff, but still they can make an appointment to go sign their will there. Or if they know somebody in their family that's a notary, they can do it there too. The one thing I want to warn you guys about is the witnesses should not be family members, friends, or anybody that's in this will. They should be strangers, next door neighbors, mailman, something like that. Okay. They don't have to be like their best friend. Because the witnesses don't have any legal recourse to this. All the witnesses stating that the tester of the will and the person that's notarizing it are not the same person. They're not notarizing it themselves. That's all the witnesses are there for.
So it could just literally be somebody at the bank too.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yep, at the bank, they just grab the 2 tellers or grab somebody in line and they'll do it for you. Yep, pretty quick and easy there. Good question. Very good question. And that's the last part of the will itself. So they'll get it notarized and it'll hold up as a legal document. So do you guys have any questions on the will section of it? Okay. Now, this is also a living will. So do you guys know the difference between a will and a living will? Okay. So a will is going to kick in once that person dies. A living will is going to kick in if this person is mentally or physically incapacitated, has an end state condition, a terminal condition, or in a persistent vegetative state, which means they're not able to speak, think, or act for themselves, right? So they'll be in like they'll be in the hospital on feeding tubes, things like that. Maybe they're in a coma, right? That's when the living will would kick in. And the living will is designed to make sure that they have their wishes done when they don't have a voice, when they're not able to speak or act for themselves, right? So you'll see it says, declaration, I made this on this day, and this is my living will, right? Letter A on here, they're just going to initial to make sure that if one of these things happens, this is going to kick in. The one thing you want to focus on here is the other requests. So this is what they want done. So like if they want to be on breathing or on feeding tubes, or if they want to, be on the iron lung or something like that, there's a lot of different things they could put on here. Just some examples that they have in the workbook. It said, like, based on my religious beliefs, I do not want to receive blood transfusions, right? Or I do not wish to have chemotherapy or something like that, right? That's what they don't want done there. So they can put, things they do want done or don't want done on there. In the workbook, it has a good list of a bunch of different things they can put in there, okay? Once they have that filled out, they're going to designate their surrogate. So who's going to take care of this for them? So number 2 is a designation of healthcare surrogate. So they're going to nominate one surrogate up here, and they're going to nominate 2 alternate surrogates. So 3 people in line for this, right? Under B, the authority of the surrogate, make sure they read that. And then C are the limitations on the decision-making of the surrogate. So what they can't do. Right, so if you know that you want to be on breathing tubes and last as long as you can say, do not pull the plug on me, do not do this, do not do this, do not do this, right? I'm trying to make sure I got everything on that. Yeah, okay, my age is not authorized for blood transfusions, iron lungs. Yeah, that's basically it. And another one's like the healthcare decisions, like what they want to charge, what they don't want to charge. If they want extra, if they want to go the extra step and try to save their life, or if they just want to just kind of live out the way they pass away because of that. A couple of different things you can do in there. The workbook is designed for them to read it and kind of fill it out themselves. It'll give them some good examples on there, right? And then the last page there, again, getting a notary and 2 witnesses to sign it to. You can do it at the same exact time as they do it the other part of it, but they're going to sign the same exact thing right here. So witness up here, 2 witnesses signatures, and a notary, right? And then the last page is Schedule A, where all of the information for the website they visit are going to go. And that's it. I ask them if they have any other questions. You guys have any questions on the will kit at all, how it works, what you have to do with it? And they're like, no. The one thing I want you guys to do to wrap this up, though, is to, number 1, tell them. So if something happens to you guys, what I want you to do is I want you to make, once you finalize this, make 4 copies of it. I have them make 4 copies. I have them keep a copy with them at the house. I have them keep a copy with their executor. I have them keep a copy with their attorney or law team. And I have them keep a copy with their doctor or medical provider, so that multiple people have the same exact information. I'm going to run through it again. Ready? Keep one at the house with them. Give one to their executor or executrix. One to their lawyer or attorney. And then another one to their healthcare provider. So that multiple people have the same information for that person, right? And then other than that, I say, guys, now with the program being so new and us not advertising to the community, this is where you guys get to help us out with that. So, they allow you guys to sponsor up to 5 people to get their will kits for free as well. So is there anybody you know right now that's designing their will or needs help with it or is even looking into it? You can collect referrals right off of the will kit program. They're good referrals too. Like, I like will kit referrals, because typically they answer the phone pretty quickly. You can send them for easy appointments, right? And then you get typically will kits are like 50-50, to be honest with you guys. 50% of them will be like, yep, I don't have any insurance, I need it. And 50% will be like, I'm good, I'm covered, I have what I need, right? So, I mean, that's basically all of the no cost benefits for you guys. I got right when I wanted to, about 2:30 with it. Leave you guys some time for questions. Do you guys have any questions on the no cost benefits or how to explain them or anything about the whole presentation for me at all?
I kind of wish
Rachel?
that
It's frozen. Great. Hold up, you're frozen. All right, go ahead. What did you say? Did you hear what he said, Rachel?
No, I got a question too.
No?
There we go. Can you guys hear me now?
I can hear you.
Okay.
Their screen is frozen for me though. I don't know if it is for you too.
I don't know.
Jeremy, you still there?
My phone keeps muting. There he is.
Hey, Drew, you're on mute.
Oh, yeah, sorry, we got cut off. You guys have questions?
Oh, Rachel did.
Okay, good.
Yeah, just real quick. So for the free will kit, do they have to be a union member or is it just anybody that signs up for it to receive information for it?
So with the will kit, I usually don't give those out unless they like request the will kit program. Like you'll see a certain lead. Yeah, you've seen the will kit leads, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, if you see those will kit leads, that's the only people I really give the will kit to. Now, I have put them in with union members. If they're older and they're thinking about a will or something like that, I'll mention it to them. And if they're interested, I'll walk them through it real quick. But to be honest, I usually just keep it for the people who request them, just because we only get a certain amount in. But that's, I mean, that's a good question. You can kind of use the no cost in any kind of way that you really want to. The way I just did it for you guys with the child safety kits, the family information, or the child safety kits, the AIL, the family information guide, and then their AD&D. There's a reason I do it that way. It's because like when you're getting into the presentation, you're like getting them involved, and then you're slowly going toward life insurance. Does that make sense? Like you're talking about their family with the child safety kits. You're talking about their health with the discount card. You're talking about what's going to happen when they die with the AIL Plus card. And then the AD&D is right there for death as well. And then you pop right into life insurance, and then they can talk about that more.
We're gonna put my stuff.
You can throw it in my office. Actually, I think Andres is in there right now. You can leave it in here. It's cool. Did that answer your question, Rachel?
Yeah, thank you.
Anybody else have questions? All right. So what I need you guys here that are virtual to do, I don't need your email address, Rachel. I have yours, but I need everybody to put their email address in the chat so that I can send you the stuff for the will kit.
Chat more. Let's see. Chat, there it is.
And Michelle, you're with Casey, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, just throw your email address in there, and then I'll as soon as we get done here, I'll send everything over to you guys. Okay.
All right. There, mine's in there.
Got it. I need to get a piece of paper and write that down. Yes. All right. Perfect. All right, cool. So, I mean, that's all I really got for you guys today. I told you it'd be nice and quick and just get you the information you need. I know we all got to hit the phones here tonight and set some appointments. And hopefully, you know, what the whole reason behind me doing this on Thursday is this weekend, you're going to be practicing a lot of this in presentations, right? So that's what we really want to see this weekend is you guys getting through all the no cost stuff, collecting good referrals, just explaining the benefits to the members, right? All right. So if you guys don't have any other questions, you guys are free to take off. And then I guess sit with get with your managers here and good luck on the phones.
All right. Hey, real quick question for you.
Yeah.
You said you're sending the information on the will kit, the stuff that we went over just today.
Yes.
Is that what we're getting?
Yes. So you'll get in the email, you'll get the PDF of the will kit that I just went over with you guys. You'll get that PDF. And then there'll also be like a link in it that you'll click on and it'll bring you to a video. It's about 50 minutes long. That'll have the guy that designed the will kit program walking you through how it works. Like this was the initial training. I have the video from the initial training of it. So he's going to walk you through kind of how I did. And then he'll do a long version of it and a short version of it. So there's a bunch of good little nuggets in there you guys can pick up and look at. So I'd recommend watching that a bunch of times.
Okay, great. Yeah. One thing I like about this training is like the videos are very helpful.
Yes.
Makes
And
it
then
easier to
once
learn.
once this is done downloading too, usually takes about an hour or so to get to the cloud. Once it's done downloading, I'll send you the video of training today too.
Okay, awesome.
Cool.
All right. Thank
All right.
you, sir.
No problem. No problem. Oh, ALISBURYTRAVEL@gmail. All right. All right, Rachel. We're gonna have a team meeting at 3:30. I'll send you the link as soon as I create it. Okay.
Okay. And then is there going to be a dinner break or we're just going from that right to phones?
We'll probably just go rate that from rate the phones, and then
Okay.
I mean when we're making phone calls, you can take a little break at the end of every hour or something like that to get some food.
Okay, cool.
Cool.
All right, I'll see you then.
In a little bit. See ya.